Hello, in this video I will show you how I edit photos in Luminar 4. We're gonna edit this photo, but first I will show you explain to you all the features in Luminar 4. Luminar 4 has 4 tabs: the Essentials tab, the Creative tab, and Portrait tab, and the Professional tab. All these tabs have different kind of tools. As you can see here, different tools. And this is like for skin and portraits, and here is some professional tools. Up here is the waveform. The waveform, it shows you the exposure of the image. So all the things on the left, they are dark, and all the things on the right, they are brighter. And the image, if you look at it, it is kind of underexposed, and that's why all the things on the right, there isn't much on the right, because it's underexposed. All the things are on the left side. So we have to turn up the exposure, as you can see. But let's not get into that right away, because I will show you all the settings. Let me see, I'm just gonna reset all the adjustments. Alright, so the triangles here, if you turn them on, if you turn on this one and you turn on this one, when you turn on the left one, it will make everything that is underexposed blue. And if you turn on the right one, it will make everything that is overexposed, let's just overexpose it, red. So if you're thinking, what is this? These are the curves, color curves. Everything on the upside here, this point right here, it controls the bright parts, and this point right here controls dark parts. And you can make different kind of points, like you can make one in the middle and turn it up. So like turn up the midtones and turn down the midtones. Alright, let's just turn off this for now. This is really handy to have this when you're correcting the exposure. Alright, so here's the light tab. It has all kind of exposure tabs, exposure tools I mean. You can and you also can change the white balance. This image is kind of cool, as you can see, it's kind of blue. Here is AI Enhance. It's beginner friendly. It's from Luminar. It's like intelligence, AI intelligence, and automatic intelligence. I think that's the word. And the computer just calculates what the image needs and edits for you. And I would not recommend doing this because it's much better to understand what you're doing, so you can have a greater control of the image and the grade. So let's just turn this down again. Here is AI Sky Enhancer. This Sky Enhancer, it works pretty good. So I would not go higher than like maybe 40 or 50, but it depends on the image. AI Structure, that's like that's just like intelligent sharpener. It sharpens like intelligently. I don't really know, but it works pretty good. I would not go high though, because as you can see, it becomes kind of fake. You see that it's really fake. So just like 20 or something. And it also has, you can boost it. Now all these tools, they have masks. And these masks, you can like select an area, so you can brush in an area that you want to be affected. And with the brush tool, you can change the size, you can change the softness, the opacity, and those are all the settings started there. And then you can see if you turn on the eye tool, you can see where the mask is. And right here, you have some settings like fill, invert, clear, copy, hide mask, everything like that. So it's pretty good. So let's turn it off again. And here are colors. Here you can change all the colors. Here you can change all the right here you can change the saturation of the whole image, the vibrance of the whole image. And here you can change just the red color. You can change the hue of it. And when you change the hue, you change the color from red to something else. So if you can see right here, this is not a really good example. It's better to go, if you change the blue to teal, look at the sky, it becomes teal. And you can change the saturation of the blue. See how much saturation there is? And then you can change the luminance, make it more brighter, make it more dark. So you have great controls of the image. And you also can do a hue shift, but I don't think nobody uses this because it changes the hue of the entire image. You can go crazy and have it purple or something, yeah. And just like I said before, it has a mask. Here you can change the image to a black and white. You have some nice settings here to change the luminance of the black and white image. You can change the luminance of each color of the black and white image. So if you look at the people right here, they are red in the color version of the image, and here you can change them to be brighter or darker. And here in the saturation tab, you can just let through red if you turn it up. As you can see, you can have it black and white, but only let through the red color. So this is really fun to play with. Okay, detail enhancer. This is just a sharpener. Yeah, that's just a plain sharpener. You can sharpen the image, but you can also choose to only let large details through, or only let medium or small ones. And here are some advanced settings. Denoise, if you have some noise in your image, like purple dots or something, here you can do that. You can remove those. But sometimes the image becomes soft or blurry when you do this. So I would recommend using this and this together. So denoise it, makes it more blurry, and then sharpen it back. Alright, so landscape enhancer. This is just some settings if you're shooting landscapes. Dehaze, golden hour. It makes everything, you know, more bright. Not bright, I mean like warm. And foliage enhancer, that's for the green. As you can see, the green becomes like crazy green. But this looks kind of funny, it looks really fake. So let's turn it off. And the vignette is just a vignette. You can make it vignette. And also the other way, you can make everything brighter. It's kind of interesting. And here you can change the where it's affected. Alright, and some advanced settings. The roundness and the feather, inner light, good stuff. Here in the creative tab, you can have a sky replacement. Now this is really, really fun. It can, usually you have to go into Photoshop to change the sky. But here, the computer will do it for you. But this image, it won't do a good job because you can't really see the sky. These are just clouds, and it is really complicated because it's mirroring down here in the water. So let's just try to see, but it will look horrible. Yeah, but if you choose some other image, it works really good. Alright, AI augment sky. Now this lets you put in more clouds or put in birds. As you can see, you can put some birds in right here. You can put in fireworks. I'm not really sure why you would do that, but it's pretty cool. And you can even put a giraffe in here. That's kind of strange, but alright, so this is kind of fun to play with. But some people say that if you put something fake in the image, it's not real editing, or you're making it fake, or it's not the real image, but it's your image, or you can do whatever you want. So just go nuts. Here you can make a sun. You can make sun rays. You can choose where the sun should be. Let's just say it would be right here, out of frame. And then you can let sun rays come into the image. See? Sometimes it works, but sometimes it works best on like images that would look like this image. There would never be like a sun ray because it's at night. Alright. Here's dramatic. Kind of makes it more like dramatic, but yeah, it's a nice tool to have. Here is a matte look. That's kind of, you can do the exact same thing in the curves tab, like I showed you earlier, like right here, the curves. But this is more like beginner friendly, so you can, it fades like the black. It like turns them up. It's kind of like a vintage look. It's kind of hipster or whatever. Mystical, that's another setting. It makes it like blurry. This is very much used in like portraits of like beautiful portraits, like old portraits, yeah, like romantic stuff. Here you can use a LUT. If you don't know what a LUT is, I would just recommend I would recommend just googling it. It's basically like a filter, and you can have your own LUT. You can buy them online or make your own in some other program, and yeah, it's basically just a filter. You can just use a filter. But using LUTs, I would not really recommend it, because if you're paying for a LUT, you're basically paying somebody to get a filter. But you can just make the filter. If you know the settings, you can just do it in the program. So you can buy LUTs, but make sure to learn what they do. Then you can make your own LUTs. Texture overlay, I don't really use this. This is just like, you can load some images to do a texture, but 99% of the time you would not use this. Glow, again, does kind of the same thing as mystical, but yeah, it just makes everything glow and more blurry. Film grain, kind of in the name, it just, you have grain. Some people like grain, yeah. Fog, that's kind of like matte look, but it's more like dramatic. Alright, portraits, I'm not really going to show you what the portraits do, because this image doesn't have a portrait. So, but really, it really kind of works. You can remove pimples and stuff like that and make the skin softer. It does look nice when you use this, and it's quite a good tool. So you can change the light, the eye removal, red eye removal. Sorry, you're not gonna remove the eye, and you can make the eyes more wider. It kind of looks. Don't overuse this. I would not recommend overusing this. High key. This again is kind of like the mystical and the glow effect, just on the face. Orton effect. This is kind of the same thing as high key, but the high key is more like, it makes it more brighter than the Orton effect. All right, so the pro stuff, it's quite good stuff right here. It's highlight, contrast. The contrast is just like the contrast between black and bright parts. So more contrast, that means that you have more bright parts and more on the black parts. So it's not like just like matte, you know, it's not just like something S-curve, like this S-curve. If you do an S-curve, it becomes more contrasty. But if you do the exact opposite, let me see, if you turn up the blacks and you turn down the whites, this is called like matte. It's like a thinner grade, you know what I'm saying? So this right here, as you can see, it's much closer together. You want this to be much wider if you're going for a contrasty look. But you can do this if you want. It's just like a style. There are no rules when you're editing. You can just do whatever you want. Adjustable gradient. This is really good for landscapes. So you can change the exposure just on the top and like the sky, and then the bottom where like the buildings are, you can change the exposure, contrast, shadows and highlights there, and the warmth and the vibrance. Dodge and burn, here is just like, it's just like a brush tool. So if you just want the building to pop out, you can make it more brighter and make everything more dark. This is really a nice tool, but make sure not to do like a sloppy job with the brushing, because if you can see that you have, just use it like slightly, because if people can see that you use the dodge and burn tool, it looks kind of, you know, distracts the viewer, I would say, at least for me. Color enhance, right? This color enhance, it changed, it's kind of like brilliance, it's kind of like saturation, the warmth, the color contrast, so you can have more contrast between the colors. But this image is highly overexposed right now. I would never show somebody an image like this. This looks crappy, but if you like it, then I guess you can go for it. So you have some advanced settings right here. These advanced settings are really interesting because you can change the shadows, midtones, and highlights. You can change the cyan and red. You can make everything more teal in the shadows, or more green, or more yellow. So it's, yeah, you can make your style right here. This is really a nice tool. Photo filter, I don't really use this. It's like a filter. You can choose your filter to be blue or red or pink. I mean, if you want something like this, I guess you have a tool for it, yeah. Split toning is a tool where you choose a color, so let's say teal, and have it, then you can make more saturation of that color in highlights. And here's exactly the opposite, just for the shadows. And here's the amount and balance, so balance between the shadows and the highlight. Alright, so let's edit the photo. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is color correction. Alright. So you want to correct for the white balance and the exposure. So what is white balance? White balance is just, you want the whites to look white. So in this image you can see that the whites look blue, so it's too cool. So right here you can make it more warm or orange. So now the whites are truly white. But make sure that you're shooting raw images. Like, as you can see, this is a raw image. It's not a JPEG. And raw images have much more information in the file and the image, so you can play around with the editing much more. So you have much more room to play. But with JPEGs, the codec and the image starts to fall apart. Alright? But with the white balance, you do it right here in the light tab, the light tool in the essentials tab, and you can use a color picker or just do it manually. Now you can choose which one you try. I would recommend doing both, like to see what the computer thinks, and then just try your own. So now it made it more warm. I kind of like this. It looks to my eyes, it looks kind of nice. And then you can, when you're done with the white balance, then you can go on to exposure. Now, as I said before, it's really good to turn these triangles on right here, so you know if you're underexposing or overexposing. So I would just go and make the exposure higher, and it looks kind of good now, but as you can see, it's kind of blue here. That means we're underexposing in the dark parts. So you can just raise the blacks right here or use the curves. Now I like to use the curves. So I just turn a bit off. And then you're basically done correcting. You corrected the white balance and the exposure. Now as you can see, if you turn it off and on again, right here, it's a dramatic difference. The exposure and the white balance. But one thing I have to tell you, if you're editing a photo and you're sitting at the computer for a long time, your eyes will they will adjust to the white balance and the exposure. So if you're looking at a really bright image, it kind of looks like it's underexposed sometimes, but it really isn't. So you just trust the waveforms. So, and you can also just take a break, like for an hour or something, to let your eyes readjust. Alright, so right now I would just go to color grading. Now sometimes I like to turn on the sky enhancer just a bit, and the structure also just makes it a bit pop. It pops a bit. And now we're going to color grade. Now in color grading, you're kind of making your style. If you want, you can change it back to like a night photo, and it's just what do you feel when you look at the image. Do you want the feeling to be like it's moody, or do you want it to be bright and like happy? So let's go for a moody style. So if you're doing a moody style, moody, it's kind of a weird word, moody. So it's kind of like dark, you know, like let's go for a dark cinematic. So let's make the sky teal. That's kind of like cinematic. So let's go into the color, change the hue to teal. You can see it's a bit teal now. Turn up the saturation a bit. And also, as I told you before, this right here, color enhancer, go into the highlights, change it a bit to the teal. See? Alright. And go also into the curves, make it a bit darker, turn down the midtones. Okay. And let's make a vignette. And we're gonna make just the house pop. So we're gonna use the brush tool, dodge and burn right here. But it's kind of bugging me that you can see it's red right here. That's because we have turned on the indicator right here to let us know that it's overexposed. So let's just turn that off. Usually I just have this turned on when I'm color correcting, because then you know that the image is good before you color grade. So you're not going to color grade something that is bad before. So you know everything that has happened, so you know it's good. Alright, so we're gonna make the house pop a bit, like this. It's kind of much right now, so we're gonna turn the amount down. Then we're going to go to the color tab. I want to play with the greens a bit. I want to make them darker. So I would go to the luminance, turn it down, turn maybe the saturation a bit down to make it more like, you know, dark. And maybe the flowers, it's maybe fun to make them orange. Yeah, see, this is now looking a bit, you know, dark. And what else can we do? Maybe, yeah, I think it's looking a bit nice. We can maybe play around with the red colors. Let's see, make it maybe a bit darker. Yeah, kind of like it like this. So let's see what we have done with the image. If you turn this on, you can see just the half part. Look at it. Dramatic difference. And this is a grade. This is what you call a grade. When you color corrected it, you changed the white balance and the exposure to the right settings, but now this is the grade. Alright, then you would basically just export the image. Yeah, export it as a JPEG. Alright, thank you for watching.